This is from Dan Orlovsky on the Pat McAfee Show. I may pause it halfway through and just kind of get your take, and we'll chat about it here. So Dan Orlovsky, thank you for that grab there, buddy. On the Pat McAfee Show earlier today, I put a tweet out. And I want to give you guys my take on the front side of this video. I said, so fans have been screaming we're too conservative, while former NFL quarterbacks are saying we're too aggressive and too creative. What a wild place to be. And it's amazing, right? It's like one set of people watching the game are going, oh, man, we need to run the ball more. We're being too aggressive with the passing game. The other side is saying we're being too conservative with the running game. We need to pass the ball. It's wild. It's a wild place to be anywhere. Here's Dan Orlovsky on the Pat McAfee Show earlier today.
Green Bay Packers fan who, hey, listen, Carolina Panthers, good football team.
If you got kids in the room, anytime the McAfee Show is playing on the show,
earmuffs.
Earmuff it. I don't know if there's any F-bombs or anything, but there could be. So just fair warning here. Make sure the kids have got the ears covered up there.
Team. That's a great football team. I see you shaking your head, Dan. You know that's a great football team. But I'm just curious, why is Jordan Love the way he is? Because like 1 week, like last week, Sunday night, he has that game against the Steelers, and you're thinking, okay, this is a guy that can lead this team to a Super Bowl without a doubt. And then, just not great yesterday, obviously. I think a lot of people think Matt LaFleur has something to do with that. 3rd and 11, calling bubble screens every single time or throwing it, 85 yards down the field. Doesn't really have a play in between those two. And then
every play he called had options in between. It's the way the defense was played.
Yep.
But listen, I like Ty Schmidt, but he's about as casual a fan as you're going to find. I'm just being honest. He loved to sit down and break tape with that cat. That would be hilarious.
They lose Tucker Kraft for the rest of the year, too, who has been their really only reliable playmaker week in and week out. I guess, how concerned should I be about the Packers moving forward?
Yeah, I'm concerned. 3 reasons why. Yesterday's such an immature performance.
Thank you.
Let's just call it what it is. It's immature. Number one, if you guys have the clip, show the very first snap of the game for the Packers offense. Okay, very first snap of the game, he's going to have a tight end. You're calling the play to see if you can get the tight end crossing the field from his left to right. There's a little ball fake. The tight end's wide open. At worst, it's going to be a 40-yard gain. Jordan makes the play fake, moves out of the pocket unnecessarily. He's looking completely opposite side of the field. And my note is, where are your eyes? And I don't know everything that's going on in the room. But I know how that offense is taught, and you're taught, dude, if you get a backside tight end with a little bit of a attention route and you get a crosser and the backside of the defense is a little bit low, peek it. Just peek to see if they stay low, because then you could throw it. So
in this case, I agree with what he's saying, Tim. My point is, why is that Matt LaFleur's fault? Again, Jordan Love has played great football this year. Great quarterbacks make mistakes. That's going to happen. We know it, right? We literally said it last week. After the Pittsburgh game, I said, guys, they're going to lose a game or two. They should win. That happens to every team in the National Football League. But again, when you try to rake the coach over the coals and say, oh, it was all his fault, it was all his fault. Ryan Schlipp does a good job of this on his podcast, where he always says, just because the play doesn't work doesn't mean it's a bad play call, right? Maybe the players did not execute the play the way it should have been. The play he's talking about, completely agree, watched it earlier. He should have threw it to the tight end. He should have thrown it to the tight end. That's just the way it is. But anything you want to add?
You think God never farted?
Anything else you want to add to that before we continue here?
I think Brett summed it up pretty good right there. Sometimes guys crap the bed, right? You call the best laid plans. If you fail in execution, you're going to have problems, right? It is what it is.
Absolutely. All right, let's continue on here with Dano.
Right there, I'm like, Jordan, where are your eyes? Okay, that's number one. The inconsistency of his eyes.
Some people would say, damn, where were your eyes when you ran out of the back of the end zone? But,
eyes yesterday were concerning. The inconsistency of the decision-making. He has 2 balls that he just are effort balls. I'm launching it deep. Why? Why are we – it's 1st and 10. Look at his mechanics. This is Jordan. He's too good of a player to do this stuff. It's 1st and 10.
You see, he's not trying to roast him. He's actually paying a compliment there too, right? He's like, man, we know how good he can be. And that play right there, Tim, you threw in the quadruple coverage.
Yeah,
right?
No, bad read. Bad read. That's not an indictment on Jordan as a quarterback, right? I mean, other than the fact that it's a bad read. And you're never going to fault a guy for trying to throw it up there for your guy to make a play, but we need a better read than that for sure.
Absolutely. Like even the throw to Christian Watson was somewhat in double coverage there early in the game. But that one, you like your chances a lot more than looking at the
nose down, right up there, right on Scoot's face mask. I love it.
It is worth saying, too, worth mentioning, Jordan had pressure in his face.
Yep.
But again, that doesn't give you an excuse to just chuck the ball into quadruple coverage, right?
It gives you a great excuse to chuck the ball to the sidelines and, maybe hit
Absolutely.
the camera guy or something.
Yeah, or J. Cole. He should have checked that down to Musgrave, right? There's options underneath. And every quarterback in the league makes these mistakes. It's just the great ones minimize the amount of times that they make those mistakes, right?
Yep.
Let's continue on here.
It's almost like he dropped back. They came from the sidelines, and he was like, "Hey, I call this. You throw it." Okay, so that's my concern. Is like he's too good of a player to play the way he did yesterday, decision making wise. I think the second thing is this. I love Matt LaFleur. Okay.
Oh no, I get this all the time from
It's like when you hear "with all due respect," and then
Yes.
it's about to be some disrespectful stuff coming out.
I get this from Andy all the time. She says, "Clayton, I love you," but and I go, "Oh no, here it goes." Right, here we go. Let's see what he says.
Feel like we're trending towards a direction where we're too dependent on creativity. Like we'll out scheme or out create things for people. Sometimes it is about just going and calling basic plays and out executing people or out physicaling people. And there's so much of this. Like, look how cool this design is. And I love Matt. He's outstanding. He's an unbelievable coach. But sometimes I'm like, we can just line up and run normal plays occasionally instead of, and I feel like they're too dependent on that.
So, Tim, we have made that same very argument multiple times, right? We've talked about that over and over. Like, hey,
sleeps on 3rd and 2. Yeah.
Third and short. Why are we running 12 yards horizontally, right? So now when it works, we don't complain, do we? Myself included, right?
Yep.
But I understand where Dano's coming from there, that sometimes you get a little too creative. And the other knock I've got, Tim, on Matt LaFleur, and you guys know, just so everybody knows which direction I would vote on the poll question we put up both on YouTube and X, Clayton would have voted we're not firing Matt LaFleur. That's just – I want to keep my opinion out of it because I don't want to sway the voting either way, right? But I think anybody who watches this show consistently knows where I'm at. They know where Tim's at. They know where Emilio and Jacob are at, right? But, again, I want an honest opinion from people in the poll question of whether or not you think Matt LaFleur should be fired, which, I'll keep it to myself. But the problem I have, Tim, is some of these 4th down calls, right, where you don't have to go for it on 4th down. Like, one thing that Bill Belichick did really, really well in his dynastic run up there in New England is, boy, he never turned down points. He never turned down points. And that was the same thing Michael Lombardi always talked about when in his book, Gridiron Genius and this and that, and working under Bill Walsh. Listen, until you have to go for it on 4th down, choosing going for a touchdown or a first down on 4th down as opposed to taking 3 points, until you get to that point, tally up those points, man. Keep racking them up. Now, if the argument is, well, you've seen our kicker, Clayton, he wasn't on yesterday, that's a valid argument too. It is. But me personally, I would say I would rather take my chances with a 30-yard field goal, 40-yard field goal, whatever it is, to continue to add points. And if the argument, Tim, is that, okay, well, you already missed a field goal or two, if that's the argument, good. That means the numbers favor us in this situation. It doesn't mean it's worse. It means you're that much closer to the next make because it is kind of a law of averages. Does that make sense, or am I just being off the wall?
I think it makes complete sense because we hear the phrase 4 down territory thrown around a lot in this league. And I think everyone who watches a little bit of ball knows what 4 down territory is, right? Down distance, how much are you down by? How much time is left on the clock? Where are you at on the field? And then there's 4th and 8s that you don't have to take. And you can run your kicker out there and flip the coin in those situations. So I would agree with that. As far as your assessment on it, I would have liked to see a field goal attempt despite, makes or misses. You miss 100% of shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, right?
Michael Scott.
Yeah, Michael Scott. You're bound to hit one, especially when you're dealing with a veteran kicker like McManus, who's played through injury more than once in his life, has kicked in high pressure situations, high wind situations. You think it's tough kicking at Lambeau, kick up at Mile High in Denver, see how that works out for you. So I would have liked to seen McMoney get another attempt there for sure.
Yeah. Jake with the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. He says, how the NFL works. But when a business / team is not living up to expectations, it always falls on leadership. That's 100% true, Jake. It is. And
Right,
again,
but if your expectations are to go 17-0 and beat everybody 54-0, then
different
you need
story,
to
right?
adjust your expectations.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, yeah, I think both things could be true there for sure. So, Jake, thank you for the super chat, man. You're right, man. And listen, I'm a business owner, right? I'm far from the best leader, but I try, right? I try real hard. And at the end of the day, when I lay my head down on the pillow, if I don't like the numbers, if I don't like the way things are going, both in my personal life, my marriage, my business, you got to self-reflect, put it on yourself. I love the fact that Matt LaFleur did that here. And listen, I was kind of second guessing myself about going for it on the fourth down rather than kick the field goal, things like that. Here's what Matt LaFleur had to say today at his presser when he was asked. And Rob Domofsky tweeted this out after the game on Sunday. Matt LaFleur said, going for it on 4th and 8 from the Panthers' 13-yard line with 11 minutes left was a bad decision. Let's hear him say it here.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the deal. I think going into the play, it's 3rd and 3, like not anticipating it going to 4th and 8. But it was a one possession game, and the possessions were at a premium up to that point. I think that was our 6th possession of the game. So I know that there's more time left in the game, but thought we had a play that we liked that potentially could score, and it didn't work out. So that's just part of the risk of it. If it doesn't work out, it's going to get second guessed. And I had our guys take a look at just the probabilities, and it was like a 1% different in regards to win percentage. So not that it makes you feel any better. I mean, it didn't work out, so it is what it is.
There you go. There you go. So a 1% probability difference there, Tim, right? Whether you go for it or not. Now, there's a couple different things that come into play here, and we'll wrap this segment up. But if he gets it there and they end up scoring a touchdown, Packers win this ball game.
Yep.
We're not talking. I don't think people are going, "Wow, what a gutsy call by Matt LaFleur." It just gets brushed to the side. Hey, we won. The narrative would be, with the same people that are screaming fire LaFleur, the narrative would be, "Man, we played down to another opponent." It wouldn't be, "What a great call on 4th down." When you don't get it, oh my God. So again, I wish we would have kicked the field goal. He's talking about the probability and things like that come into play. Completely respect that. And the people that say, "Hey, I know it's at the 13-yard line. It's still not a chip shot with the way the kicking game's going right now." I can understand that as well. So let me put this poll question.
That's what football is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The only thing guaranteed is every Sunday, 22 guys are going to bang heads. That's your guarantee. Everything else is up in the air, man.
Yep. And here's the poll question I put up, guys. I've got to know if this is a real thing or just a loud minority. Packer fans, do you want Matt LaFleur fired? There was 1,445 votes. 67.6% said no. 32.4% said yes. I got to be real. I don't want to say I'm surprised that the numbers turned out the way they did. It's like 1 second, Tim, I'm surprised that the yeses are so high, but also when I put that poll question out, I was thinking, man, this might be 70% yes, 30% no. Or I mean, 70% yes and 30% no. So again,
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, man. It's really, really, I don't know, it's really strange to me. Let's go to the poll question here in our YouTube chat. We got 57 votes. 87% says no. 13% says yes.
There we go, YouTube. Let's go.
I will say this about our viewers, man, and our listeners on the pod and everything as well. I anytime we do a poll question, I always find myself going, yes. When I see the YouTube /podcast, votes, it's like that's more in line with how I'm feeling as opposed to just the random people that I don't really know that well on X, obviously. But I just wanted to kind of test the waters a little bit, if that makes sense. So that made me feel a little bit better.
I like your point too. It's like, when Matt, calls something or takes a chance or plays conservative, whatever it is, if it doesn't work out, it's fire Matt LaFleur. It's, he's terrible. And if it does work out and it looks great and we win ball games, it's like, oh, well, no big deal. Like that's what you're supposed to do. And it, you got to be at least consistent, right? We talk about this team. We want consistency out of our team. Be consistent as a fan. Like, don't flip flop around, man. Like, It's crazy.
And it's funny too, because many of the people on X that were screaming fire Matt LaFleur, they commented on the poll question. They said, I voted no, but he needs to be on the hot seat. Okay, so what's your translation? You overreacted earlier. Just say it. Hey,
Right.
man, maybe I Instead, it turned into, well, no, you don't quite understand my stand. No, you were saying they need to run his ass out of town. Now, all of a sudden, when you got to put your money where your mouth is, things change a bit, right? But I'm just glad that, like I said, the poll question turned out the way it did. So we want to hear from you guys. If you're watching this video back later on YouTube, let us know what you think about everything that was just covered. Dan Orlovsky's take on the Packers. Do you think we're trying to be too aggressive? Maybe you think we're trying to be too conservative. Everything that we just covered, let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure you click subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. And I want to apologize here to Pack Attack. I missed this one earlier. Super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Says frustrated, upset, but yet hopeful. Help. LOL.
Yeah.
That's how we all feel.
That's the post of the day right there.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
that describes a lot of us, right? We're frustrated, we're upset, but there's still hope, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. And Tauscher made a comment too, and we'll wrap it up with this. Tauscher made a comment on their post-game show is what I learned today was this is a good football team, not a great football team yet. And I think I'm not quite, I think they can be great. I think when they play down, they can be good, right? But the reality is when they're just playing good, or really when they're playing bad football, they've lost these 2 games by 6 points, right? Total of 6 points, I believe it was. So
And I think that's where the frustration comes from, though, right? You want to win.
Close.
You want to win those damn close games, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that super chat, Pack Attack. Sorry I missed it there, buddy. Joe NC said after watching that throw to Reed against the Rams the other year, he can and does make that throw. Talking about throwing into coverage, absolutely. It still doesn't make it the right decision, but boy, when he threads the needle like he did to Jay Reed over the top in triple coverage. Again, I wasn't going, guys, you can't throw that ball. I'm going, what a throw by Jordan Love.
Yeah, and there's nuance to the game, right? Having somebody about to drill you and you're trusting what you looked at maybe a second before or half a second before and just heaving it up there is a hell of a lot different than standing tall and threading the needle, right? And you're looking for your quarterback to take calculated risk, not hero ball down the field. And I think that's where a little bit of frustration comes on that look.
Yeah, definitely. Brother Blood 115 says, man, the way people are talking about the Packers, you would think we were 0-8. It's so true. And here we are at the top of the NFC North. Just wild. Coach Lynn says we need to relax. So